Numerous years ago, it used to be that a business's only concern was to make a profit, to make their shareholders money. And that really isn't the case today. Society really does expect corporations to not only make a profit and serve their shareholders, but to give something back to society and to treat their employees very well. There are two dimensions of social responsibility, and most businesses try to act both legally and responsibly. For example, Jeff Bezos with Amazon.com matches Oprah Winfrey's Angel Network contributions. And this can be seen across the board with corporations across the nation in how they try and give back to society with financial contributions, with allowing their employees to volunteer within local communities and volunteer for good causes. Take a few minutes to think of an example of each of these combinations. Can you think of a company that acts legally and responsibly? A company that follows the law and tries to give something back to society? Can you think of an example of a company who acts legally but irresponsibly? Maybe they follow the law, but they're harming society. How about a company that's responsible but does things that are illegal? They benefit society, but they break the law. Can you think of businesses that harm society and break the law, meaning that they're irresponsible and they're performing illegally? Click to the next slide for further examples. Let's discuss the responsibilities that a company has to its stakeholders. And a company's stakeholders include everyone that they touch or influence or come into contact with in any way. And this includes employees, customers, the public, as well as their investors. What do you expect from a company if you're that company's employee? Do you expect something different if you're only a customer? How about if you are someone who lives within a 5-mile radius of that company? You don't buy any of their products, you don't work there, but you live near that organization. How about if you're an investor? Are your expectations different then? The U.S. Department of Labor has formed an organization called No Sweat to put an end to sweatshops. They've also informed consumers about what they can do. This includes asking retailers where and how garments are made, ask retailers if they purposefully don't buy from sweatshops, and if they support no-sweat clothing. Some trends you can see happening in regards to business ethics is a lot more strategic giving. For example, Patagonia limits the number of items they actually produce because they feel everything that they make damages the environment in some way. And they also give a lot of their profit to environmental conservation. You can see examples across the board of large corporations like IBM, General Motors, who give a lot of money to charitable organizations. Many businesses are also engaging in social contracts with their employees. What this means is employers are telling their workers that they can't guarantee them a job for the rest of their lives, but they do expect their employees to add value to the company, and in exchange for that, they'll give them meaningful, important work. And they'll also give them training to make them employable, if not within that company, then another company, if they end up looking for a job elsewhere. Several years ago, American citizens weren't as concerned with the ethical conduct of American companies overseas, but that's not the case today. You can see with Kathie Lee Gifford the uproar that the public was in over how her clothing was made by sweatshops overseas. Another example is when Levi's said that it would leave China because of human rights abuses that they were guilty of, and they were praised for this, praised for the fact that they said they were going to get out of China. But they were picketed when it claimed it was going to sell their clothes there once again. Levi's said they would leave China, but they couldn't take the loss. This meant that human rights advocates were very angry with Levi's, and it got them a lot of bad press. Today, society expects companies to carry high ethical standards overseas. Every year, Bill Gates, of course the CEO of Microsoft, gives over $3 billion to the Gates Learning Foundation, which goes to support computers and softwares for libraries across the nation. He also grants money to aid World Health and Human Services. He also is very involved in creating software programs to help people with disabilities. And more recently, you probably heard how he gave quite a bit of money to the UAF Museum so they could expand.